Welcome, friends, to the Get Fit with Jodelle show. I'm Jodelle as usual, and today I've got kind of a two-part podcast for you keto lovers out there, or keto inquirers. Maybe you're thinking about ketosis, maybe you're thinking about what you should eat as far as low carb, or just in general taking the carbs out, and you're on the go. So this first part of the podcast is for those of you who are on the go, you're trying to make this keto diet or keto lifestyle work for you, and you need some quick fix ideas. So I'm going to show you some of my favorites for that. However, you're going to want to stay tuned because the second part of this podcast is dedicated for those of you who are wondering about ketosis and ketogenic diets, if they're right for you. Okay, and maybe you've actually been doing a ketogenic diet for a while and you're finding that maybe it's not working for you, and I'm going to tell you why that might be. So you're going to want to stay tuned for that part, because everyone needs to remember it's bio-individuality that matters when it comes to any sort of diet program or exercise program. Your body is unique as your fingertip, okay? So that you have to remember that what works for your sister isn't going to work for you, and that's okay. We'll find what does. That's my job as a nutrition coach. So if you ever want to get some coaching going, just check out my Patreon page, patreon.com/Jodelle, and you can check me out at getfitwithjodelle.com. I have a lot of information and free stuff there, including my free newsletter you can sign up for. So just a little plug there to check that out and check out what I have to offer, so that if you're wondering, why am I so confused about what diet works for me and why is this not working for my body? Chances are you might need someone in your corner to advocate for you and just answer a lot of questions and figure out what works for you on a bio-individual level. And that's where I can come in. I can help you with that. So let's get started. For those of you that are kind of doing a keto diet or thinking about it, let's just touch briefly on what it is for those of you that might not be aware. So what is a keto diet or a ketogenic diet? Well, eons ago, it used to be more of a diet where it was 90% fat, but today's modernized ketogenic diet is more of a 70% fat approach. Then you've got roughly about 15 to 20% protein and 5 to 10% carbohydrates, depending on how extreme you're going. So that means that what you're doing is essentially depleting the glycogen stores in the body so that your body is basically forced to burn body fat for energy. Now that works to some extent, but we're going to tell you later who that might not be working for, so stay tuned for that. Those of you who are trying it though, or thinking about trying it, you also have to fit into your modern lifestyle, right, of being on the go, because for the most of us, we're here and there and everywhere, so it's hard to just make all these really great keto meals that you see that are popularized on a lot of videos. Sometimes it's all you have time for is grab and go to make it work for you. So I want to show you some of my favorite products that can really help make the keto diet work for you. Now I'm going to preface this with an asterisk here, like right here, like here's your asterisk, okay? Because the keto diet, in my opinion, is a healing protocol, and that's why on my website you will find a keto quick start, you will find a keto protocol. It helps you if you have something like pre-diabetes or insulin resistance. It helps to remedy that. It helps with things like brain issues and cognitive thinking and candida and issues like that. A lot of people have had help with just getting their blood sugar on track and getting their gut in order by doing a candida or a keto protocol, basically. So there is some good to it. However, long term is what we're going to be talking about in a little bit. You need to be paying attention to what could possibly be happening to you. But first, okay, let's talk about the good side of it, because it definitely does help with blood sugar handling, and it's definitely easy to do if you have the right tools to do it with. So a couple of my favorite things here I'm going to bring up to you. First, for those of you that are on the go and you need fat and protein all in one and don't want to have to worry about the carbs being in there, you need to check out some pork rinds, okay? Pork rinds are like the animal chip, if you will, for those of you who enjoy animal protein but want that crunchy like chip feeling, and you miss having that chip in your mouth taste from going into the keto diet. So check out pork rinds, because they're actually quite high in fat, but they're also quite high in protein. So you can actually get a good protein source here too without going overboard, okay? So like one bag is 30 grams of protein, but you're not going to eat the whole bag, right? You're just going to have maybe half the bag or something like that. This is a really great company too, Epic brand. They do everything without any sort of hormones or any sort of any antibiotics fed to the animal, so it's a really great company to invest in as well. Okay, one of my favorite companies, though, happens to be dropnfbomb.com, or Fat is Smart Fuel, as their trademark name is. And so I want to show you a few of my favorite on-the-go. You can grab these, pop them in your bag, your diaper bag, your purse, your man bag, if you will. Throw them in your car for a quick snack. But these don't have to have a cooler. They don't have to have refrigeration. And anywhere you are, you can easily eat a nut butter packet. Or their new product is Keto Crunch. So these are no growth hormone cheese crisps. So again, a crunchy snack for those of you who like crunch. A lot of people who are stressed, they go to crunchy things because it's a thought distractor, just FYI. So this is their newest product, so you really want to check that out. There's a lot of good uses for this, including like get the goldfish crackers out of your kids' hands and put this little Keto Crunch in there. I promise they won't look back on missing the goldfish crackers. They're going to get a lot more nutrients from this. But these products are great. Again, grab and go. You can slip them in anywhere, even your pocket. And that way you have a quick keto snack anytime you need it. So dropnfbomb.com, and I'm going to include a link here for you to save 20% with my code. So check that out. With regard to getting your essential fatty acids in, such as DHA, I want you to check out Wild Planet. Okay, this is one of my favorite foods is sardines. I also love their yellowtail that they have on their website. But if you don't want to take a fish oil pill, which I don't recommend, you might just want to eat a can of these a day. This is like medicine in a can, basically. BPA-free can, mind you. And it's a nutritional powerhouse. I mean, it's so chock full of good fats and good protein, but also no carbs. And you've got your essential fats, especially your fish oil fats, for the entire day. So no need to take a fish oil pill. And stay tuned. I'm going to show you a quick recipe you can do with these. Okay. Also, avocado, nature's fast food. Some people like them, some people don't, but all you're going to do is slice it open and put it in a baggie, put it back together in a baggie, and then when you go to eat it with a spoon, you just sprinkle it with some sea salt. Because if you're in ketosis, you definitely want to include sea salt throughout your day. You are losing electrolytes all day long. Your cells don't have the glucose in there and the energy to hold on to the nutrients within the cells. So if you get that keto flu or that low mood feeling or that low energy feeling, chances are you're losing electrolytes. So sea salt has a lot of minerals intact, 82 in fact, 82 of trace minerals that will keep your stores of electrolytes replenished. So throughout the day, if you just want to pop some sea salt in your mouth, a little pinch will do, and then drink some water, you're going to find that you're going to feel a lot better while you're in ketosis. Same goes for the avocado. Sprinkle some salt on there, take a spoon with you. Nature's fast food. You can spoon it right out of the shell. Okay. And also, in regards to the salt, you might want to consider some pickles, okay? These are very like it says 0 carb, but mostly a cucumber is like 1 carb or something. And they're solid chock full of sodium here, so if you need to get those electrolytes up and you're craving pickle juice, now you know why. It'll keep your electrolyte balance going. So these little like on the go, oh snap, you open it up, there's no brine in there to spill out on you. You just grab it and have a little pickle alongside maybe some pork rinds, some beef jerky, a little F-bomb packet, and you've got a meal on the go basically. Great travel snacks and really easy to also pack in your suitcase when you're going to be at a hotel and you're going to have limited food available that kind of fits your lifestyle. I had to travel for a long time with a company, and I would have to carry these things in my suitcase so that I could ensure that I would have a good meal when I got to the hotel versus eating, whatever restaurant food was available or fast food. So I have a quick recipe that I want to show you that I'm actually just going to show you the ingredients and show you how fast and easy it would be to put this together. So you would just need to really literally put all of these in a bag that would take like 15 seconds to do in the morning. You're going to get some already prepackaged salad. I have like arugula here, so throw that in. Throw in a packet of avocado oil. This is going to be your dressing, okay? So just a packet of avocado oil. You could throw in an avocado and chop that up. You could also, which you're going to want some protein on there, so just take this can with you with all this stuff just packs in your bag. You're going to pop, it's a pop open can, so let me show you. You don't have to have a can opener, it just pops right open, and that way you just can either keep the oil that's inside of it or drain it out if you're using like a different, like the avocado oil, if I just want to use that instead of the oil that's in there. Your choice. And then guess what? You can have croutons, because you could use the Keto Crunch and put them as croutons on top of your salad. Isn't that brilliant? So all of these are grab and go things that you can just, let's see if I can hold them all. I'm like Vanna here of the keto food group. Okay, so you could take all this in a bag and put your salad together literally in less than a minute, and you have a meal on the go. Okay? So I hope you enjoyed that, those of you who are really embracing the keto protocol of healing yourself or lowering that blood sugar or just getting things under control that have been an issue for you for a while. However, now is the second part of the podcast that I wanted to talk to those of you who are either thinking about the keto diet or are doing it and are not seeing results. I want to talk specifically about who actually shouldn't be doing ketosis. I know this is kind of like a quasi podcast where you're getting the best of both worlds, but that's just it. I want you to know that keto does have benefits. It does help a lot of people. But we have to go back to bio-individuality. While a lot of people are going to eat these foods and feel really optimal, other people are going to eat these foods and start putting on weight, or conversely, taking off too much weight, and they start to get really low energy and they don't have the stamina to get through their day. Maybe they even go into some sort of adrenal malfunction, and that's precisely why I wanted to bring up this topic today, because it is not for everyone. And every time I consult with somebody and they've been doing ketosis for a while, and then they tell me, I'm not seeing results, I'm not feeling good, I have brain clarity, but I'm constipated, or I feel good during the day, but I don't sleep at night, okay? I want to break the myth that for people out there that think they need less sleep on ketosis, that's a cortisol response. What's happening is your cortisol is staying high because your body's in a stress response, and now your sleep is suffering. Okay, so I've been wanting to do this video for a long time because I cannot tell you how many people I've had to kind of take off of a keto diet who are almost ruining their health because they're on it. So who does it not work for? Let me tell you who it does not work for. It does not work for someone who is in adrenal malfunction, or their adrenals are overworked, they're experiencing unbalanced cortisol responses where they're groggy when they wake up first thing in the morning, but they could run a marathon at 10 p.m. at night, okay? If that's you, you have an adrenal issue going on. Or it's the person that maybe they were working out hard, crossfitting or working out for days on end, and they felt really good doing a keto diet, but then one morning they woke up and they couldn't get out of bed. And from that point on, they've had very low energy. You have now sent yourself into an adrenal malfunction state, and we need to remedy that. So I want to come back and talk about that adrenal malfunctioning person, if you will, in just a moment. But I want to tell you who else ketosis or a ketogenic diet is not right for. That includes somebody who has an extreme leaky gut or some sort of compromised detox pathway also within their liver. If you're dealing with detox pathways such as, here's an example of someone that maybe you haven't been tested for your liver being off, but you're having some symptoms of you drink 1 cup of caffeinated coffee and you're on edge and jittery and anxious all day long. You have an issue with your detox pathways. Also, pregnant nursing women obviously need to take in some carbohydrates to fuel their growing baby and to keep themselves energetic while they're fueling that growing baby. Remember, every single cell of our body runs on glucose, okay? Does it have to? No. That's why we have this survival mechanism of being able to make ketones in the event where we don't have food. Eons ago, sometimes people didn't eat because there wasn't food available. If you were to go outside my house right now where it's snowing like cats and dogs, I wouldn't be able to go out and forage for very much today if I didn't have 16 grocery stores just around the corner in my town, okay? So that there used to be lean times, and people would get lean because they didn't have access to food. But that doesn't mean that it's right to do all of the time, because our bodies are made for feasts and famines. And so that's why it's really important, especially with regard to the glucose factor, that when we have access to glucose, we should actually be consuming some of it, because our cells do require it for certain processes of the body. So I know there's a lot of schools of thought out there where carbs are not essential. I get that. They don't have to be. Your body can run on ketones, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you actually should do something that's right, whether it's right for your sister, but maybe not working for you. So, someone with kidney issues also needs to be aware that ketosis is probably not right for them. And like I mentioned, the leaky gut, if you have an extreme issue with your gut and your colon, maybe some sort of Crohn's issue, ketosis may not be right for you. So you might want to just check with your doctor, work with someone who's very educated in what you've been diagnosed with before you just jump on the keto bandwagon. Bio-individuality, that's the key word for this podcast, is you have to understand, yes, in ketosis you will deplete glycogen. Yes, you will make ketones. Yes, you will lose fat, maybe, if you're the person that responds well to your body making ketones instead of using glycogen or burning glucose. But this is the big take-home message here is when you're in a ketogenic state, it is a stressor to the body. When the body senses that it does not have glucose to burn anymore, yes, it does flip over to making ketones, but it is a stressor. The body senses a famine, and if you are already in a stressed state or your adrenals are already malfunctioning, you have now compromised your health even further to where cortisol now takes a front seat, and guess what? Everything else takes a back seat. Your hormones, your organ function, your thyroid function. Did you know that without adequate glycogen in the liver, you will have a lot of trouble converting T3, which means that your thyroid might be putting out the right kind of hormones, but yet your body's not responding to it, and you're having thyroid issues, maybe even hypothyroidism. In fact, I've seen several people start to slow down their metabolism just by going on a keto diet for more than 6 to 8 weeks. So the thing is that you need to be aware of is while I mentioned that ketosis can be a healthy state for a short amount of time to heal some things in the body, eventually what you might want to think about doing is cycling in some carbohydrates again and having a carb-rich meal at one time during your day, or every other day inducing some carbs, or having small amounts of carbs that come in versus absolutely no carbs. And in fact, what's really cool is I'll have clients that have come to me that have been in ketosis for 6 months to a year, and they've stopped seeing results, and all we do is drop their fat down a little bit and add some more carbs back in, and suddenly they are dropping weight like crazy. Their body is now seeing this as a non-stressed state. The cortisol is actually regulating itself out because it sees that, oh, I'm not in a famine. There is carbs available. I do have glucose to burn. And now that I've been fat adapted in this ketogenic state, I can now burn glucose and fat and just pick and choose which one is available for me to do that with. So that's the state you want to be in. And for most of us that don't have compromised blood sugar handling issues, we can do that. We can burn both sugar and fat. So for someone who has been feeling that they might have some adrenal malfunction, what's actually going to be a little bit more conducive for you is to actually have carbs at each meal. I know, I said it, have carbs. Since the beginning of time, glucose has been available to some extent in all parts of the world for human consumption. I mean, you can go back as early as the biblical scriptures, and they talk about manna from heaven, which was basically bread and honey, okay, and scriptures that talk about bread for sustaining life, and a lot of old books and things like that indicate how we lived off of things that convert to glucose in the body. And then there were lean times when maybe we only had access to animals in the winter. So there is room for this ebb and flow of ketosis versus living off of glucose. That's where we want to get with our eating. We live in a modern society, like I mentioned, where we have food available at every corner. But just because we can eat something doesn't mean we should. What we need to do is mimic that lifestyle of making sure we're balanced and we're getting the right amount of nutrients for what our body's calling for. This is what I did for my own health when I was dealing with the toxic mold exposure, and I did kind of a ketogenic approach with carnivory for a short amount of time. I did that to heal myself, and then I started adding in seasonal foods that became available when spring came. So I only did the carnivore approach for a short amount of time for the healing phase, because for me, now I know there are people out there that can do it for years and years and years, and that's bio-individuality. That's what's right for them. But for me, I could sense that my body was ready for some glucose, and so I wanted to start adding stuff in. Now I'm what you call carnivore with benefits. I have lots of seasonal foods that are available to me, local grown foods right now. So we need to pay attention to those seasonal changes, just like the world has seasonal changes. We do too. And so our body's needs change at any given time. Pay attention to that. Pay attention to your cravings. If it's something for like a donut, then chances are there might be some other things going on. But if it's something like you just don't really feel like meat is what you need right now, listen to that. Or if you feel like vegetables are just off the table for you right now, listen to that. There's that inner knowing that your body has going on that we have to pay attention to. So you can balance things out with what your body is actually asking for and seeking. And a stressed out state, if you go into a week of ketosis and you're dealing with all these other life stressors and the weight's not coming off, you don't have energy, you're constipated, you feel like you're getting muscle cramps and muscle fatigue more often than not, chances are your body's trying to tell you something and saying, hey, tink, 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 I'm not okay. This is not working for me. And that's okay. It can work for your husband. It can work for your brother. It can work for the whole group that you work out with at the gym. But that doesn't mean it's right for you. So let's find out what that is. And chances are you might actually be somebody that needs carbohydrates at every meal and needs to do a little less fat and keep that protein about that adequate range of 15 to 20%. So I hope that answers some questions for those of you who have had some issues on ketosis or are thinking about it and wondering, is it right for me? Make sure that you implement some form of help, whether that's a coach in your area or someone like myself to, get that symptom burden analysis that I offer and see what symptoms are going on so we can see what nutrient deficiencies are going on, see how much your adrenals are firing in the right way versus overfiring, to make sure that we can find a protocol that works for you and gets you results just for your body. So I won't take up any more of your time. Thank you for watching today. I hope you got some really great insight on just what exactly the keto diet is, who it's right for, who it isn't, and maybe even a recipe to try too. If you like these, please subscribe and like and share, and hit the little bell down there so you know whenever I post another one. I'm trying to be pretty frequent with these. And if there's something you'd like me to touch on and do a podcast on or have an interview with a certain someone, then I'd love to hear from you about that. I'd love to be your coach too, so if that works out that you'd love for me to help you figure out that bio-individual approach to what your body needs, then get in touch with me. I'd love to help you with that. Thanks for watching. Have a healthy day and stay hydrated too. Out there in YouTube land, I wonder if you're missing the sun as much as I am. It's winter time. I'm not able to get outside as much as I'd like to, although every time that sun pops out, I'm trying to be out there. But our vitamin D tanks kind of crash this time of year, and so it's really good to supplement with something that's a quality vitamin D. There's a lot out there, and you need to be aware of what's quality and what's not. But I will tell you, I wanted to recommend one that I personally use, which is LiveWise Naturals. And this is vitamin D3 plus K2, and it's actually the MK7 from natto form of K2, and that's really important because this is something that you don't just want any K2. This is a really good, it helps you absorb the vitamin D and make sure that you get the most bang for your buck, basically. So one drop of this is 1,208 IUs of vitamin D. So imagine if you took a dropper full, you'd really fill up your vitamin D bank account. And while the sun is always going to be the best way to supplement vitamin D, sometimes if you work in that office job where you don't see the sun come up and you're getting home after it's dark, or you just don't have a lot of time between work and kids and running around to be out as much as you'd like to, we still don't want to see that vitamin D tank. So go ahead and look on livewisenaturals.com and use code GETFIT to purchase these little droppers. They're actually quite tasty too, because what they do is they put a peppermint oil in them and it kind of freshens your breath. So that's kind of cool. In the midst of getting your vitamin D, now you're going to have really fresh breath too. So check them out, livewisenaturals.com, enter code GETFIT to save 10% on your very own little winter survival kit of vitamin D. out there. So you've heard me talk a lot about F-bombs, dropinfbomb.com. So you may know they have nut butter packets, oil packets like avocado oil and olive oil for on the go, these handy little packets. But did you know that they now have, let me show you the right way, F-bomb Keto Crunch, and my toddler loves these. So these are little cheese crisps, and they're made from dairy that's without growth hormone, no artificial flavors, no gluten, and they're a nice healthy fat with only 1 carbohydrate. So it's pretty cool. Check them out, dropinfbomb.com, and use the code GETFIT to save 20% off your purchase. That's GETFIT to save 20% off your Keto Crunch purchase. You better hurry, because the last time I checked they were sold out. So I'm assuming they're going to be getting some more, but keep checking back, because these are wonderful. If not for you, then for the little one in your life to take on the go with.